Hello, John.
Hello.
Good evening. It's August 5th, 2025, Tuesday, and we're in Studio 6A today. And it's my pleasure and distinct honor to be speaking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today, Mr.
Very good,
Jeckovich?
thank you.
You're looking well.
Thank you,
You're
yeah.
looking well. Gray sweatshirts are very becoming on you. You're looking actually 10 years younger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Come on,
how's that,
come on.
huh? So you had a nice day?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a good dinner?
Yeah.
That's good, that's good. We're reading Mr. Jeckovich's book. I don't get nothing there. It's titled Their Mother's Sons. How many pages?
849.
849. We read it one time, completely, and now we're on the second time around, and we're on chapter 9. Page 218 is titled Crossing the Channel. Crossing the Channel is after several months of Mr. Jeckovich in basic training in several different locations. They're getting ready to go to the front line, right?
Yeah.
And Mr. Jeckovich's last spot, basic training, was in Haverfordwest. We just finished that chapter where he met a beautiful young lady named Jean Rowland Young.
Yeah, where's she though?
We don't know. We've tried. We've tried. That's a good question. All his other girlfriends we seem to find. In fact, one of his girlfriends, it's hard to believe a man would have so many girlfriends in World War II, but he did. One of his girlfriends we found, this is since you brought up that question, let me explain. We found her in, where she lived, Owensboro, Kentucky.
Anna Mae Mahaney.
Yeah, Anne Mahaney. Believe it or not, it's so hard to believe this story. Mr. Jeckovich told me he'd call her in 1943 and 44. He did call her, but unfortunately, it was 80 years later, 80 long years later. But here's the best part. When he called up Anne Mahaney, she answered the phone.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Didn't she?
Yeah, she probably answered for everything. Yeah, she probably
She answered the
phone.
phone. You were thinking there'd be a young girl, 19 or 20 on the end, because that's how your mind was programmed. At least you seen her. How'd she sound?
Feeble, yeah.
So after you got done talking to her, what did you do?
I took her picture down, put my mother up.
Yeah. After he got done talking to Anne Mahaney, he took her picture down that was on his desk wall for decades. There was a mark when they removed it from the wall. The paint faded. And he put his mother's up. That's how we get back to the story of their mother's sons. Mr. Jeckovich took care of his sole caregiver of his mother from his age 11 to when his mother passed away aged 89. So there is where the book starts, Their Mother's Sons. A lot of people text every day, how much is the book and where can I buy it?
Not for sale.
Not for sale. It's never been about money. Mr. Jeckovich is certainly fine in that department. The book is written to give a younger generation kind of like a roadmap to a simpler, better life with emphasis on having a more wholesome life. And the book is not for sale. There's one original copy, though, in the World War II Museum in New Orleans, Louisiana. But you can listen to the book for free. We have over 600 YouTubes with Mr. Jeckovich, where I started from chapter 1 and took it to the last page of 849. And now I'm the second time around. Mr. Jeckovich's mind is like a library. There's a lot of great stories. And I assure you, when you wrote the book, you didn't use Google.
No.
You didn't use a laptop.
No.
How'd you do it?
Yellow pages.
Yellow legal pads.
26 minutes, I'm gonna go get the Wi-Fi. This is not working.
Yeah.
Okay,
You,
I'll be
yeah.
right back.
So that's one hell of a book.
Yeah.
We call it the Big Beautiful Book. Are you working on your second book?
Yeah, well, Kate Noakes on it, yeah.
Okay, I'm running out of material. I hope you get it done, 'cause I'm running out of material. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925. He survived the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And then after that, he was drafted in World War II. Did you feel like you missed anything during the Great Depression?
No, I missed a thing, no.
It was
I was
wonderful.
young yet, though.
You had no feelings of having, you had enough food,
No.
you had enough clothes, you had everything, right?
Got a new Easter clothes.
Everything,
Easter uniform, everything, yeah.
everything. So it's ironic, Mr. Jeckovich was born during and survived the Great Depression, and then right after that, he got drafted in World War II. I wonder why they call these guys the best generation of all time. After reading his book, I found out that generation is extremely patriotic and they have great empathy. I underline empathy because they have great empathy. And empathy is the glue to civilization, and empathy is a glue to humanity. Without empathy, we won't have anything. You know, but I still believe there's more good people today than bad. We see a lot of bad. Oh, every day we see a lot of bad. But I believe we have more good people than bad. So, Mr. Jeckovich, you said you knocked on the door at 20 and now you're 100.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Did it go by that quickly? 80 years.
I don't know what happened to it.
Where the hell did it go?
Yeah,
20, he blinked his eyes, and now he's 100. 80 years went by so quickly. Listen, boys and girls, it's a short dance around the sun here. So enjoy every day to the fullest. Enjoy every day to the fullest, because you're just a visitor. You might be thinking that you're 50 or 60 years younger than Mr. Jeckovich, but believe me, when you blink your eye, you'll be 100 years old, like Mr. Jeckovich. So enjoy every day. You know, life is very strange. You arrive here with nothing. You spend your whole life chasing everything, big house, fancy cars, fancy jewelry, but still, you leave with nothing. You'll leave with nothing. You've never seen a hearse pulling a U-Haul trailer. So make sure your soul gains more than your hands. Just make sure your soul gains more than your hands. And that's part of this book, making sure your soul gains more than your hands. Yeah. Well, we're touching on chapter 9. Chapter 9 now. Crossing the Channel.
yeah.
Page 219. You want me to read a few pages?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Chapter 9, Mr. Jeckovich's book, Crossing the Channel. As we got ready to leave, the mess sergeant came out with a full box of rations and set them in the cab of his truck. He then said, with a slight grin on his face, "Give them to your civilian friends with my compliments and enjoy." With that, he patted me on the back, and I thanked him again and said they would surely appreciate his kindness and generosity. He waved his large muscular arm and went back into the kitchen. I sat in the truck wondering how I was going to get all those rations to Jean and her family. Jean is Jean Rowland Young. She lives in Haverfordwest in a cottage with her mom and dad. I decided that I would take half tonight and the rest the next night. In the meantime, I would store the remainder in my duffel bag, hoping that it would not have a surprise equipment check.
Yeah.
So if you had a surprise equipment check and that food was in your duffel bag, what would have happened?
They turned me in.
Then what would have happened to you?
Give me company punishment.
So you took a great risk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As the driver reached to turn off for our billets, he asked me where my civilian friends lived. I said up the hill and to the right. To my surprise and amazement, he turned and headed the huge 6x6 up the narrow streets. Those 6x6 trucks are wide.
Yeah, and those streets are narrow here.
What's the streets made of?
Cobblestone.
And the reason why the streets are narrow is how come?
Or the horses.
It had nothing to do with cars.
No.
Cars weren't even invented yet
No.
when those cobblestones were laid. So to my surprise and amazement, he turned and headed the huge 6x6 up the narrow street. We were barely missing the cottages on each side as the driver skillfully etched his way up the steep incline. People were coming out of their cottages wondering what was coming up the street. Perhaps a tank. I imagine some wondered, so a lot of people came out.
Yeah, well, the truck made all noise.
When they heard the roar of that 6x6. We finally reached Jean's cottage, and I quickly jumped out of the cab and knocked on the front door. Mrs. Young hurriedly answered and was completely speechless to see me as well as a huge 6x6 standing out in front. I told her I had something for her and quickly brought in the boxes of the rations and set them on the kitchen table. I turned to Mrs. Young and said goodbye. I would see them tonight. As we started back down the steep hill, I had a warm sensation and felt good about what I had done to help out some well-deserving people. And especially the Young family was extremely appreciative when he gave them something.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they didn't have anything. They were restricted on everything.
Yeah, everything was a shortage during World War II.
Just to get embalmed.
Yeah. Here we go. Not that most of the townspeople were not deserving, but it was only Jean and her family whom I knew intimately. I thanked the driver for his consideration and told him that I had not known how I was going to get those rations up there. He smiled and said he was glad to be of help and that it made him feel good to help someone over here. I thanked him again when he let me off at the intersection and headed for the motor pool outside of town. I just was in time for the formation of March to Chow. So when you went to your Chow, you had a march, right?
Oh, yeah.
And how far was that away?
About 10 miles.
So you were pretty damn hungry when you got there. And then when you marched back, you're hungry again.
Yeah.
Jesus. I had enough time to turn up the shower building and wash up. I was already in my fatigues and only had to change my fatigue cap for my helmet liner. What exactly is a helmet liner?
Helmet liner goes in your steel helmet.
Is it made of cloth?
No, it's a steel helmet. The helmet liner is plastic.
Okay.
You put that on first inside your helmet in it.
So
You can wear it separate. They usually wear them separate.
So the helmet liner is metal?
No, the helmet liner is plastic.
Plastic. And then you would mount the helmet on top of it.
Yeah, that's steel.
Okay. But wouldn't that look kind of odd wearing a helmet liner with no helmet?
No, we wear them all the time. That steel helmet was heavy.
I see. And so if you're wearing the helmet liner, is that something you had to do? You had to wear the helmet liner?
Yeah.
If you're wearing the helmet liner, where was your helmet?
My helmet's hanging up in my closet someplace.
Okay.
Well, you had to have that cap on. We use the helmet liner all the time.
Okay. I understand now.
It has your name on it, too.
I saw the mess sergeant once again and thanked him once more for what he had done that afternoon. I also told him that the people I had given the rations to were extremely grateful and said especially to thank them all for all his kindness in cans of sliced peaches and his kindness and effort. He smiled and said perhaps he could do it again before I left. Anytime I was ready, give him a call. That night I knocked on the Young's door. Jean opened the door. When she saw me, drew her arms around me and kissed me. I was surprised and asked what had brought this about. You know what for, she said, elated as she ushered me into the kitchen. On the table was spread out our rations, and I had received from the mess sergeant. There were large number 10 cans of pears, plums, corn, baked beans, and tomatoes, and 3 or 4 10 bags of flour and sugar, several large cans of cheesecloth coverings, and several cans of peaches. That started it all. So they got a large amount.
Oh, yeah.
That was very nice. Mrs. Young asked me hesitantly if I'd be getting into trouble in retrieving this much stuff from the Army. I quickly reassured him that the person in charge gave me his permission, and it was all done according to Army's rules and regulations. Naturally, I did not tell them about the CO, who might think differently regarding the situation. What he might not know would not hurt him. I thought as I looked at the cheerful and appreciative faces that the reward was greater than the risk involved. I am sure there was much more problems being done on much higher planes than taking place here. I felt happy for them. I was only disturbed a little that I could not do more before I left. I told the Youngs to look at it as a Christmas gift from your Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Did they like that when he told me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a festive move that might almost like Christmas Eve back home when I was a small child. Mrs. Young and Jean baked a special cake, and we all sang Christmas carols around the glowing fireplace. At 2100 hours, we took our tea in the parlor and listened to BBC. What's BBC?
British Broadcasting Company.
Do you still listen to that today?
No, on Thursday do. I don't get it here.
Okay. What's the minute count, please?
BBC.
BBC.
12 and a half.
Mr. Jeckovich, would you like a coffee?
No.
Mr. Jeckovich, would you like a crumpet?
No, thanks.
What's a crumpet?
Trumpet.
Crumpet.
Is a delicacy.
In where? Wales?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the crumpets there? I'll be damned. The news of the war soon put a damper on all our festivities. As we listened to the commentary, we once again thought of all the brave young and women dying tonight under a cold, wet blanket of snow. Yes, they were. War is a miserable...
What were they doing?
Dying. The soldiers are dying tonight when you listen to the BBC. In that war, someone's always dying.
Yeah.
It's a painful thing. It's a miserable thing. They were all alone, never to share the joy and companionship that we're enjoying tonight. Never to see the loved ones again once more, and never to taste the joys of life that their young minds and bodies so generously forfeited to their country's cause. Yeah, to their country's cause. Huh. We sat around after the news and enjoyed another piece of cake and tried to talk on more pleasant topics besides the war.
11 and a half.
Mr. Young talked a little bit about his work as mayor of this town, and with a big help of Jean was from him. So Jean helped the mayor, her
Yeah,
father.
she did all the bookwork and
She not only did most of the secretarial work, but also handled a great deal of the public relations. Jean mentioned that it could get pretty trying at times, but all in all, she enjoyed and looked forward to the day, doing it each day. Yeah. It was getting late, and Jean noticed my glancing at the clock over the fireplace. Was it a wood-burning fireplace?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Was there a lot of wood piled up next to it?
Oh yeah.
Who got it, the father?
The father did, yeah.
Fire.
Well, they had little stoves in the centers too.
Fireplace had mentioned to her parents that she would walk me down a bit. The Youngs again thanked me for everything, and Mrs. Young hugged and kissed me. By now I was getting used to the treatment and believed I would miss it if she ever stopped if it ever stopped the friendly ritual. Jean put her jacket on and her neckerchief around her head. I said goodnight and stepped aside. Jean took my arm and began thanking me for the generous gifts. She said they made her parents extremely grateful, and that if it was not my generosity, but the U.S. Army's generosity. I reminded her that it was not my generosity, but the U.S. Army's generosity. We came to the benches and sat close to one another for warmth it afforded and sheer joy of being together. We listened. Here we go. It's night. You're sitting at the benches in Haverfordwest, and what are you hearing?
Stupid Spitfires going by.
Spitfires.
The blue flame out the back.
Okay, describe them to us.
Well, they got a squeal, wheezy sound of Spitfires, and they got the blue flame coming out the back.
And give us an idea, when you and Jean were sitting on the bench outside, about how many of these Spitfires were going by?
I say about 20.
20?
They're going over to bomb Germany.
They had bombed the hell out of Germany,
Yeah.
right? How many do you think came back?
How do I?
How many Spitfires do you think came back every night?
Probably
What?
20.
Do you think they made it
That was
back?
probably a crew, a whole crew, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. We came to the benches, huh?
8 minutes.
We came to the benches and sat close to one another, for the warmth it afforded the sheer joy of being together. We listened as the heavy bombers darted across the darkened sky. Was it Haverfordwest? Everything's lights out,
Oh,
No
no,
lights.
everything's blacked out, yeah.
blacked out. Suddenly overhead was a squadron of Spitfires, racing to overtake the bombers before they reached the channel, to escort them on their mission. So not only the Spitfires, the bombers,
Yeah, they're bombing the hell out of Germany, yeah.
and eventually it was down to rubble,
Yeah, they were down there bombing the factories over there.
24/7.
Yeah,
Who was during the daytime?
Americans.
Yeah. The Spitfires always made me apprehensive. Just the sound of their powerful engines relayed to me the awesome prospects of their deadly capabilities.
Yeah,
What kind of engines were those Spitfires?
Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
But the real small canopy, those guys they got to creep in. A lot got killed in there. When you see these guys all burned up, they're flying those Spitfires.
It has to be a tiny guy.
They can't get them out fast
Can't
enough.
get him in. Can't get him inside the cockpit. Jean sensed my anguish and held my hand tightly, as if it was to relieve the anxiety and the fear of the forthcoming events. The thought of her being near me gave me a sense of rekindled strength. I was soon over my despair and began cognizant once again of her physical attractiveness, for she was attractive. And each time I saw her, it would intensify my attraction for her. I kissed her hand and noticed that she was still wearing nail polish and remarked about it. She stated as she stroked my face she occasionally wore it to impress someone or to make herself look more appealing. I said it was surely working and fulfilling its mission. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So she had nice nail polish on, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's another thing you can't find during those times is nail
No.
polish. Yeah. Yeah. It had certainly impressed me. She squeezed my hand and kissed me on the cheek. I wanted to do more but thought better of it. I did not want to appear as I wanted a reward for my bringing over a few rations and already looking for a payout. I put my head on her shoulder and asked her if she wanted to come across the channel with me in a few days. She looked disturbed and perplexed, and then she would gasp, "What was I trying to say?"
She got the point.
She got the point, yeah.
Yeah.
She quickly stated as she ran her fingers through my hair, "It must be frightening to be constantly reminded of what lies ahead in a short while. I certainly did not envy your position. I feel extremely distraught about your safety and what you shall be going through. Yeah, wasn't nice. With that, she reached down, kissed me, and whispered, "Take care of yourself and don't do anything foolish." I was touched by her remarks and her sincerity, and then felt full significance of her statement was brought home to me. Once again, time had run out. Time had run out, and once again, I had lost out. The inevitable shadows of fate had touched me again. I thrown her net of despair about me, entrapping me in the sea of nothingness. I would leave this beautiful woman and its friendly people as I come in empty-handed with nothing to look forward to. This was a reenactment of Owensboro all over again, with this feeling of isolation and disconnection from everybody I held dear and loved. I got up as another group of Spitfires flew overhead and told Jean that it was getting late. Did Haverfordwest ever was subject to bombings?
No, Soviet bombing?
Yeah, did Haverfordwest ever take any German bombs?
Oh, yeah. Germans would come over,
Did
yeah.
Haverfordwest ever have the Nazis occupy it?
No.
It was too far in.
They only got to Paris.
So, yeah, they took Paris for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And you and your division ran those bastards out of Paris. They were destroying young men, young ladies, and kids. Nazis were bad, especially the SS. Minutes, please.
3.
So you're telling me, Haverfordwest occasionally was bombed, right?
Yeah.
Not much.
Well, it was bombed because they had industries there that the Germans wanted to cut off.
But when you were there in Wales, were you ever bombed at Haverfordwest?
Well, I was in the shelter most of the time, yeah.
Okay. And was there much destruction in Haverfordwest?
Oh, yeah.
But the Gene Young's cottages weren't bombed.
No, they missed them, yeah. They were lucky they missed them.
So were you in the shelters with regular population or with the army? Were you there in the shelters with regular people or?
They're civilians.
I see. So, but at no time did the Nazis ever walk on the grounds of Haverfordwest.
No.
They didn't get that far.
No.
But they would occasionally send over bombings. If Haverfordwest wasn't a threat to the Nazis, why'd they bomb it?
Well, there's industries in Haverfordwest that the Germans figured they knock out, that they cut their way to fight back.
I see.
Do you think the Germans knew that you guys were there in Haverfordwest? Did the Germans know that their troops,
That didn't bother them, no.
So they're just trying to blow out the industry.
Huh?
But the Nazis are trying to bomb the industry at Haverfordwest.
Yeah,
Is that?
get rid of it.
Did you see many of the buildings destroyed?
Some of them were destroyed. None of the churches, none of the schools.
How about the castles?
Castles, some of them they hit, probably so many of them, they just try to hit some of them.
1.
Did you take the tour through the castles?
Once, yeah, they're all creepy, they're all old.
Explain to us in as much detail as you possibly could share what it's like in the castles in Haverfordwest.
Well, they had a dang smell because everything was closed up in them.
And how old were these castles?
Probably 100 years old.
And how many floors were these castles?
3 or 4.
And about how many square feet do you think these castles were?
Square feet?
Yeah, how many, like 10,000?
I say 300, 400 square feet. Yeah,
And did some of them have a moat around them?
yeah, most of them, yeah.
Were people living in some of these castles?
No.
So they're all abandoned, or they're just being used as museums?
They figured they were targets for the Germans, so they stayed out of them.
Oh, they were targets.
Yeah.
And after the war, the families moved back in.
Yeah.
17 seconds.
Wow.
Excuse me.
What castle did you go through? What was the name of the castle?
What castles? Schoenberg or something like that.
Wow. That was amazing.
Yeah.